watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, I've been telling you guys for quite some time that Bob Arum, he may not be the most consistent, and he may lie on occasions. But one thing Bob Arum does know, more than a lot of other promoters, is he knows a lot about boxing. He knows a lot about boxing. Bob Arum, he predicted that Guillermo Rigo would most likely beat Nonito Donaire. When no one gave Tim Bradley a chance in the first fight, Bob Arum was one of the only people who was saying that Tim Bradley had a very good chance of beating Manny Pacquiao. And once again, he predicted the winner of this fight between Chris Algieri and Ruslan Provodnikov. Matter of fact, Bob Arum was so confident that Chris Algieri may pull off the upset that he was already talking about putting together a fight between Chris Algieri and Manny Pacquiao in Macau, China. Bob Arum said days before the fight that once Chris Algieri beats Ruslan Provodnikov, then I'm going to try to set up a fight with Manny Pacquiao and Chris Algieri. I think this is a very compelling matchup. Matter of fact, as long as Manny Pacquiao is not fighting Marquez again and again and again, and we get to see him against new opponents, the majority of opponents he would face would be a very interesting opponent, because we're getting to see something new and not the same rerun over and over again. I think old Bobby, he realized that promoting Chris Algieri will probably be easier than promoting Ruslan Provodnikov, because Chris Algieri is an American fighter from New York. You know, it just seems like, you know, he would connect more with the fans than Ruslan Provodnikov. You would get more American fans, you would get more New York fans that would, you know, support Chris Algieri. Now, don't get me wrong, Ruslan Provodnikov, he has a little bit of a following as well, but his fans are more of the diehard boxing fans. I think Chris Algieri could probably draw more casual fans than Ruslan Provodnikov could. And in terms of the styles, this would be a very intriguing style matchup. Once again, Manny Pacquiao has never really been in a ring with a tall, rangy fighter that has an excellent jab, that knows how to box, has a pretty good defense. The last time I remember Manny Pacquiao fighting against a guy that was a little taller than him and had a little bit of boxing ability, it was Nadal Hussain from Sydney, Australia. And for those of you guys who don't know, Nadal Hussain, he actually dropped Manny Pacquiao. So this is a very interesting fight, a very interesting matchup against Chris Algieri if they make this fight. I would say that that's a 50-50 fight. I told you guys on many occasions, I believe almost anyone that Manny Pacquiao fights from this point on is probably a 50-50 fight, because there's not really too many face-first fighters that, you know, look like David Diaz or Antonio Margarito. At least there's not too many in the welterweight division or the junior welterweight division. I mean, Ruslan Provodnikov, you could pretty much put him in that category, but I still, you know, see him as a far more intelligent fighter than Antonio Margarito and David Diaz. Although Algieri made Ruslan Provodnikov look very vulnerable, we still have to remember the Provodnikov versus Bradley and Alvarado fights. Styles make fights. And I believe a lot of the problems that Provodnikov had with Algieri will be the same type of problems that Manny Pacquiao may have. He won't have all of the same problems, but the main problem will be the height. The main problem will be the height, trying to get around that long-ass jab, that long-ass reach advantage that Algieri will possess in a fight like that. Now, one thing that Manny Pacquiao has that Provodnikov didn't have, of course, is tremendous hand speed and foot speed. And he's a left-hand puncher. I don't know how much experience Chris Algieri has against a southpaw, but we'll see if this fight comes to fruition. With all the speed and the angles that Manny Pacquiao possesses in his arsenal, one thing that he doesn't really have is an inside game, and he's going to need to get on the inside with a tall, long, rangy fighter like Chris Algieri. How does he do it? Because he can't just try to outbox a tall guy trying to constantly land the left hand. He's going to have to get past that, get on the inside, and let his hands go, which is very possible. Which is very possible that he will be able to do it. But like I said, this just makes for a very intriguing fight. So, you know, I would look forward to seeing this fight. There's a lot of fights that could be made with Manny Pacquiao. I still like Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I still like Marcos Maidana, Amir Khan, and Danny Garcia. Now, if I was promoting Manny Pacquiao, my first pick would probably be Danny Garcia. But once again, Chris Algieri, that's a good pick as well. So that's pretty much all I got on this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.